Hi, this is Skavlem, and today we're going to talk about upping your sales game and simplifying your message by calling your mom. Now, that might seem a little strange to you, but not only will your mom tell you that you're fabulous, but she will also ask the hard questions, or at least my mom will. And that's why I talk about calling your mom. It doesn't have to be your mom specifically, it can be somebody in your life who knows you and who trusts you and who also will not be afraid to tell you that you're using words they don't understand. Now, those words are most of the time industry jargon, just words that you are so used to saying every day that they become part of your vocabulary. They're part of the way that you speak at work. And so when you talk about work, you're used to using those words. Well, not everybody is going to understand you when you say those words and when you use that industry jargon. And so, what words can you use instead? How can you talk about either your sales or your project or the value of what you do without using industry jargon? And so, talking to somebody outside of your work and outside of your industry and explaining to them, showing them your sales pitch, giving that whole spiel to them, whether it's a presentation, whether it's a video, or whether it's a speech, and just say, if there's something that I say or that the words are that are on the screen that you don't understand, just let us know, and you'll be able to change that before you actually make the sales pitch. So the next thing is anything that's complex. If you have a complex concept or you have a complex chart, why don't you try taking that complex chart and break it down and maybe do one part of the chart on one page and the next part of the chart on the next page? Isolate lots of different types of data points, isolate them and talk about each one separately, not because you're talking down to somebody, but because our heads, especially if we're not used to uh, or immersed in that concept every day, our heads are not used to just looking at data. We're not robots. And so if your complex chart doesn't have a story, then try to simplify it, isolate it, and build up to the full chart. So, say for instance, on the first page, talk about data point number one. On the second page, talk about data point number two. On the third page, tell a story about how these points relate to each other in real life. And on the fourth page, talk about the whole chart that you now have laid out for them. So it's again not talking down to people, but building up to your final concept. And finally, when you're ready, when you have taken your either your speech or your video or your blog post or your program out into the real world and talk to real people about it, then go back and use those things that you talk to people about it. Use their questions. Start off with questions um, and answer them either in your charts or in your speech or in your video. People want to be informed, they want to be entertained, and they want to be educated. Those are the three things people are still looking for. All right, I hope this helps and go and simplify your message.